What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Night Studios, and we are back on a new Let's Play of Space Engineers. We're dropping down on Earth right now, and I'm actually a little bit surprised, because I'm not doing nothing. So things have changed a little bit. We've got a little drop pod here. I was kind of expecting a different... They've changed the drop pod, is basically what I'm getting at. These are not the drop pods I'm used to. Kind of cool, though. So we can get out of here. And, let's see. I have my settings, and I will probably show those off before the end of the episode. But it's mainly basic. The only thing I did was change things like adding super grids and, you know, a few little minor things. I thought about tweaking the settings for like the grinding and welding speeds and inventory size just to make things easier for me, for YouTube, so I didn't have to do quite as much grind work and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see how it goes, and you guys can let me know what you think. But for now, I'm going to take a little bit of a pause and get things kind of started, because ultimately I'm going to try and cut out a lot more of the fluff and get more progress done each episode. So to do that, we got to cut out some fluff. So, proceed with fluff cutting. Okay, so, I'm kind of starting off here, but I kind of forgot about some key changes that they have made to the game so far. So, I have my little starter palette thing, my little hobbit hut, that I would call it in Minecraft, over here, with a basic assembler going and a small cargo container. And if you look, for those of you that haven't played in a while like me, there's a progression tab now that shows you kind of all the progressive things that when you do one of these, I guess then you get access to these. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Or somehow in sequence of them. Like maybe you get the first row or something. I haven't quite figured that part out yet. We'll probably see it here in a little bit. So I actually didn't realize that they were all separate. I thought this was one linear, you had to start with these and then it would go to there. Did not actually realize there was another tab for multiple different things. But I digress. We'll get it all eventually, not a big deal. But what was confusing me is I was grinding down the respawn pod, because might as well. There's no real reason to let all those resources go to waste. I'm not planning on taking that pod and flying it around anywhere. And you'll notice, like, the display and computers and small steel tubes and things, I was running into a problem where I was not getting those parts out of some of the things I was breaking down off of the pod. I broke the main flight seat, the beacon, you know, the cargo container over there, because I was going to try and make one over there, etc. and so on. And when I got over here to the survival kit, when you go to the production tab, it's got this stuff, and I was like, okay, but I need iron, I need blah 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 blah. And there is an ore detector on this pod, which I turned on to no avail. I made sure it was broadcasting through the antenna, blah blah blah, and there was just nothing around. And I'm like, well, crap. And I thought, well, maybe I just need to go further down, deeper underground. So I dug this little hole at a decent angle, so that I could make sure I could get back out of it. Without my jetpack and whatnot, which worked fine, but I wasn't finding anything. Now, grant you, I was using the right-click drill method, which for those of you that don't know, it does not yield any ore. It's basically just for digging. I did it a few times with the left so that I got some ore, and I was like, well, I'll just store it in here for now, so I have like 1,000 kilograms of ore. Well, when I checked this, I thought this was gravel, because it always used to be gravel, or magnesium, or whatever it was, out of stone. And when I hovered over it, I realized it says ingots. And I instantly regretted not digging with the left mouse button to get all of the stone I just mined, because I remembered they changed the production system for starting out, so that you actually can do, actually I don't think that's, yeah, I'm gonna have to make, it'll give you gravel, but you also get some of these other assorted ingots out of stone, and I forgot about that entirely, to where you want to just get a whole bunch of stone. And I totally forgot about that. So now I gotta go back and actually do the right way. and see if I can get what I need. So I'm gonna do some more mining, I guess. Maybe I'll go off this way, I don't know. But we're gonna do some more mining and actually collect the stone, and then see how much we can get out of that. Alrighty, so a little more time has progressed, and I've got an interesting situation going on. I have a basic assembler going on here. I have a basic refinery, but my big issue is power. Now, I know I've got this battery over here, but I don't really have a good way to transfer the energy stored in it, so I'm trying to kind of keep this connected to the drop pod for now, because as you can see with the survival kit, it's supplying me with energy and all that stuff, and I'm finding an interesting situation. I'm not sure yet with the refinery. I haven't had a chance to test it, but it seems like this ingot thing is pretty much exclusive to the survival kit at the moment. I haven't been able to get the refinery to enough power to test it out. See, like, I don't even have a production tab in here for the refinery. It's kind of just on or off, I think. So, I'm not sure about that. The wind turbine, unfortunately, I built thinking that it would give us a little bit more power throughout the day, throughout the night, but it does seem like we're not in a very windy area right here, because it's only producing like 1. So, I'm not too sure about that one, and unfortunately, per the progression system, well, I actually did get the refinery done, so I might have... Oh no, I did a basic refinery. I'd have to do a full refinery to get access to reactors, which is interesting because I noticed there's a little different one up there. What is that? Small, large, and something else. That's interesting. I haven't seen that one before, so that must be a new block, or a new version of it. That's intriguing. I also don't see it in here either. It's just the small and the large, but yet this has... Oh, a hydrogen engine. Okay, I do have that. Converts hydrogen into power. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if I should build that, because I have ice that's producing oxygen and hydrogen. Not that I really need it to at the moment. That's interesting. I wonder if I should go that route. I have a battery going here, but again, I gotta need power to make the basic assembler do stuff. And the only reason I'm trying to go through this is there's things in this one that the survival kit can't do. It can do solar cells, though. It may be able to do everything I need for a solar panel, which might solve some of the problems. Bulletproof glass, solar cell, computer... The computers, the construction components, and the steel plate I'm not worried about. The girders I need. I don't think those are done. And the bulletproof glass I don't have any of either. This can do girders, but I don't see bulletproof glass. So ultimately, to get a solar panel done, I believe, unless the glass is optional, I don't know if I can do it without the bulletproof glass or not. But yeah, so I turned the refinery off because it may be drawing too much power. And I'm a little miffed, to be honest, because this says minimum required is 1. What the heck just... Oh, the sun's coming up, apparently, or going down. It says it only needs 1, but it's not doing anything with 1. So I'm a little confused on that part, because if you hover over, there's not enough power. So I guess it draws more power while it's using the stuff. So with that, I'm gonna pause and try and figure some stuff out over this night cycle thing and see if I can't figure out what's going on. Although I will admit, this stone to ingots thing is amazing. I love this. So hoping to use more of that. Actually, wait a minute. Oh, that was... Okay, never mind. I thought that said I had 380 stone. I was like, why is that not crafting? So, yeah, give me a minute and let me see if I can resolve this power issue, because once we get some power going, we shouldn't have too much of a problem getting started here. Alrighty, so I've been doing some digging, actually quite a bit of digging. This was the original tunnel that I started, that I said I was right-clicking the whole time, and I didn't end up with any ore from most of it. I think I went a little ways, and then I doubled back and I started going this way for more ore, and then I was like, wait a minute, why am I digging so far away from the surface when all I need is stone? So I came back to right about here where the dirt gave way to stone, and I started this little tunnel. So all of this digging has been to turn back into materials, obviously. So I just wanted to show that so you guys had an idea of how much I've actually been digging around to make this work. I guess I'll leave my headlamps on. The dropship is gone. I didn't really mean to break the battery already. It got broke past the point of functionality on accident as I was digging around, but I do have another battery over here already, so it's fine. And I've been dropping, and the basic refinery will do the survival kit stuff, so that's just a whole new functionality that's been added, which I am over the moon about. Like, you guys have no idea how much I actually wanted them to do that. Let's see, I don't want this on right now because I don't really have a place to store it. So the ice got pulled in there. So we've got a pretty functional base at the moment. So there's a story behind this, by the way. Some of you are probably familiar with the new wind mechanics and everything, going, what is that? Alright, so what happened? I had my wind turbine here, and as you could see before, it did say the quality was poor. However, I have since figured out that I believe this assembler was bugged, because I read online that if it's always saying 1 kilowatt, that's the current output, which means that nothing's drawing from it, but the max output is ideally what it can actually do. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because the assembler was set to do so. I mean, I showed you guys, it said not enough power. Well, I ground it down below the functional level and then rebuilt it, and then it was fine. So it had to be some kind of bug about, I think I might have built this before I put the turbine down, so it couldn't figure out what was going on. I'm not sure. But before I did that, I was like, well, maybe it has to do with height. Maybe it's too low and it's not picking up enough wind. So I went up like 30 blocks or something, and I was like, well, screw it, that should be high enough. So yeah, that's kind of the story behind that one. And once it was up that high, I just figured, screw it, I'll just leave it there. Now, I did build this solar panel, which it does not need the bulletproof glass to function. So for those of you that did not know that, future reference, you don't need a full assembler. All you need is the survival kit, because it'll do everything besides the bulletproof glass, to the best of my knowledge. So we got a solar panel. It's not ideally placed. It would probably be better to put it up there with the wind turbine, like right underneath it. But I do kind of like the angle being like this, because you'll probably get more surface light than if it was, well, I don't know, honestly. It might actually be better up there. It probably is, so we'll probably move that at some point. This guy is charging, I believe, and somewhat outputting, probably because of the assembler or the refinery or something. I do have a survival kit on this grid instead of the dropship, and the reason being just for the pure energy recharging for the moment. There is a bit of a conundrum here, and that is, on the production tab, medical components require silver. Now, the metal grids also require cobalt, which it seems like all we're getting from stone is silicon, nickel, gravel, and iron, which are all really good basic materials. For one thing, we can build solar panels entirely. Actually, now that I think about it, I should probably grab 4 bulletproof glass. I don't have any more iron, or I would finish off the steel required for the survival kit, but whatever. So that's fully functional now. So that's really cool, because as much as I like solar power, it means all we need is stone, and we can get solar power. So that's really handy. I believe the same can be said, yes, for the wind turbines. All those components should only require stone and a refinery. As you saw, the refinery does do what the survival kit does, so once you have that, it's not a big deal. All these are connected through the conveyor ports, too, so that's nifty. And then my access port is here, including the oxygen hydrogen generator as well. So, the big issue is silver, because until I can get a medical bay, I don't really think I want to get rid of this. The only thing I'm not sure about is if I die, I don't know if this will double as a spawn point like a medical room or not. I haven't really wanted to test it. You guys can let me know in the comments, or on the Discord server if that's actually a functional respawn point. If it is, I'm not super worried about it. If not, I kind of want to get some silver relatively quickly so that we can get a medical bay going. As for our progression, we're not doing too bad. A lot of this is relatively simple. Once we build a basic assembler, we'll get access to these things, it looks like. Though not all of them are super important, like gravity generator, not a big deal right now. The biggest thing I'm after at the moment is going to be, we have access to a drill, which is great, and a thruster setup is probably what I need next. So I need to build a landing gear, I need to build a flight seat, and that should give us all of these. The atmospheric thrusters, again, I'll need cobalt for the metal grid, which I think cobalt is just a matter of finding it, to be honest. I don't have anything, like I had an ore detector on the pod, it didn't find anything, so I'm going to have to probably go hunting for some ore deposits, but cobalt should take care of us for a while, because the only thing that I'm concerned about is the metal grids. I do have 4 of them, but that's not going to go very far, I don't think. Let's see, where are the thrusters again? I'm just curious. So, on a large grid, the Atmos need 10 apiece, so that's not going to cut it. But I want thrusters, so, I mean, I guess I could use... Hey, I guess I could use wheels. What do wheels cost? Could I do that? Like wheels and pistons? What do wheels have? Okay, so wheels don't require any cobalt. So we're going to make a rover first, not a flyer. I was thinking of making an atmospheric thruster-based driller to make the whole grinding down and getting stone easier. Because I have to say this. I haven't played Space Engineers in a long time. So this is kind of starting over and doing some new stuff. But I love some of the changes they made, the quality of life improvements. Particularly, I cannot stress enough how much the stone improvements have made. Because now, I don't actually need to go build a ship, fly out somewhere. It takes mining and makes it far less tedious, even though, yes, it was very tedious drilling that tunnel. But the reason being that all I need is stone. I can just mine stone for days, and it takes care of your basic needs for building. So I don't feel this season will be nearly as limited because of that one feature. I don't think I need to do mods and all that kind of stuff to make the nanite drillers and all that stuff. Like, I can literally just go mine a ton of stone and use that to make, solar panels, wind terminals, batteries, all of this stuff I've made off of stone and whatever I ground down off of the pots. So that's really, really cool for longevity because it won't hold us back as much. We can make rovers, and I feel like the game itself feels more conducive. Like this, we built this whole base, we built solar panels, we got power, we have processing, we may have survivability, not quite sure on that one. And the fact that ice is probably going to be harder to come by, which means hydrogen will be harder, which means I can't fly as much, means we have to actually do this a little more old school, which puts more emphasis on the wheels and rovers, and it just makes a more natural progression is I guess what I'm getting at. So with that, I think the next episode is going to be a rover to be a driller is kind of the idea, a wheel-based driller of some kind. Actually, now that I think about it, we might do one of those, if the trick still works, let me know in the comments if this still works, but I may do one of those vertical wheel hover craft. That'd be kind of fun. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments. I am going to try to keep these episodes closer to the 15-20 minute mark instead of half hour to 45 like my last season, and I'm going to cut out a lot of the grinding and do a lot more off-camera work so that you guys are only getting the important stuff. So, alright, so I think that's going to do it for our first episode. We got power in multiple forms. We've got storage for power. We've got assembling and refining. We have refining. That's a word now. We have a means for oxygen and hydrogen, but we need a supply line for that. So I'm kind of excited about this, to be honest, because I feel like the ecosystem's built in a little bit better. And I feel like we need to develop more like supplies and drones and other things. It'll make some of the mechanics of the game less useless, I think, is I guess where I'm going with that. But with that, we're going to wrap things up here for today. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, leave your feedback, suggestions, and ideas for the future of the series and projects we should work on and what should do next in the comments. Also, if you guys have any ideas about base types, because this is obviously a temporary setup, should we do dig down subterranean base like we tried to do last season? Should we try and build around? Should we build somewhere else over there? That kind of thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.